Alrighty. Alrighty, guys. Seems like Riley and Haley are here. The usual's going to pop on. I'll go through the notes today. Now, if you look at the modules, there should be an assignment here of our notes. We got some couple calc students in. If you guys have questions, you guys can ask. This should be pretty easy. It's going all right, Mr. Hartzler. It's been busy doing daycare and teaching at the same time. Not as easy as I would want. So for the Algebra 2 students, I put this up here. If you are able to print off a packet, I would recommend doing that because I will go through these notes here. We're going to spend the entire next week going through all this. We're going to take our sweet time going through this. But if you're able to print these off, that'd be good. If not, maybe you'll have to write them down on a separate sheet of paper and use them as a reference. Today, what we're going to do is just look at this part here. Is if we have the equation, or how to get the equation of the circle given a graph. So it's actually going to be pretty easy. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the super easy problems here. First thing that we need to know is that the equation of a circle goes like this: x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Where if we're looking at a graph, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, if I have the center of the circle, the center is HK, just kind of how like the vertex was a critical point on parabola. Circle is HK, and let's say we're going to start off real easy. Let's say we have a radius of 2, so that means I could go down 2, I could go over 2, 1, 2, up 2, 1, 2, left 2. That is terrible circle drawing, but I don't have a graph paper. So if I look at this circle has a radius of 2, and the center is at over 2, up 3. What we can do is just plug those numbers in. So the equation would be x minus h, which is 2, squared, plus y minus k, which is at 3, squared, equals r squared. R is 2 squared. So the only thing math we need to do, we're going to leave these alone. Just square the 2. So it'd be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4. Okay. Where it gets a little difficult, and we'll go through the first equation on here, is how to go through these steps here to find out this equation. If we don't have a radius that we could go directly up, like if we could go from the center and go right to this point, that point's not exactly at 6 or 7. It's hard to see. We know the center is at -3, 1, but that radius is kind of hard to tell. But we do know we have a point here which is at 2, -1. So I'm going to use this to kind of help us out here. So through these notes, we're going to start out with what we know. So we definitely know that the center is at -3, 1. So it's going to be x minus -3 squared plus y minus k, which is 1 squared, equals r squared. So the problem is we don't know the radius, and there's two different ways we can do this. The one way we can do is like, well, we still have these variables here, right? And this variable that's a point has an x and a y. So we can plug those numbers in for our x and our y into the equation to help us find r squared. The other thing we could do is just do distance formula, make a triangle over and down. But I'm going to take these numbers here and plug them in. So let's see, we got x is 2, y is -1. So we'd have 2 plus 3 squared, because we got the minus and the negative, plus y, which is -1, minus 1 squared equals r squared. So let's see, this would be 5 squared plus -2 squared. And then we could say, okay, that's 25 plus 4 equals r squared. So that's 29. Now, normally we try to square root. But remember, our equation, we want to know what r squared is. And we can just leave it as 29. There's no point of taking the square root of it, getting a decimal, and then squaring it again. So the answer to our problem would be x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 29. There's the answer. So this is all we're doing today. We're taking this whole lesson super slow. So if you guys want, I will go through and just kind of open up the Canvas quiz and kind of talk over each problem. Give me a second to adjust my camera here. Get my laptop out. Like my curtains. Alrighty. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's go. Boom. Algebra II. So let's see, we are doing circles, equations from graphs. All right, let's preview this. I'm going to zoom this up. So this is actually going to be really, really easy if we do this on Canvas. All right, I don't want to zoom too much. So we got these fill in the blanks here. So what we got to look at is, if you guys can see it, hopefully. All right, we got to find the center. And since everything is already minus, there's no way to change this to plus or positive. So let's see, the center is at over 1, down 3, so at 1, 3. So we would type in 1 for this problem, and then minus a -3 here. Just leave it like that. It's okay. But then we got to figure out r squared, and the nice part about this is that the radius lines up perfectly. We can go over 2 or up 2 or left 2 or right 2. So we just got to do 2 squared. That's really the only math you have to do in this section. 2 squared is 4. There's the answer. So like the next problem here. Okay, where's the center? The center is over 2. So we'll put a 2 next to the x. And then down 1. So y minus -1. Leave it like that. And then what's the radius? All right, so if I go over, look, it lines up perfectly. I have to go over 4, or up 4, or left 4, or down 4. So 4 squared is 16. 16 goes there. Okay, next problem. Okay, where is the center? It's over 1, down 4, so -4. So y minus -4. And what's the radius? The radius is over 3. It's lining up perfectly. Set them up easy. So 3 squared is 9. So the center is HK here, and the r squared is the last box. Okay, last problem here. Let's see. This one we have to go left 2, then up 1. So it'd be x minus -2 and y minus 1. And then our radius is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 squared is 25. There we go. So, pretty simple. And it's a new section to you guys, so I don't mind showing you here. If you guys are watching these videos, that's great. You guys have any questions? Looks like you're just in here, Riley. there are no questions, I'll end this video and I'll post it to my story and to YouTube and to Canvas. Should be all right. Let me see if I can get some, if anybody has taken it yet. Double check that I did the work here right. I always want to do that. Great. All right, nobody that period has taken it. Only one person. Okay, and they got a 3.6 out of 4. That's good. Actually, you know what? I better check that I did the right work. Oh, no, I don't want to go there. Okay, I'm going to end this.